keep it real with ya.
Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm going to try to make this quick. I always say that, right? I always say that. I'm going to try to make this quick because it's like the evening on Sunday. I'm going to try to upload this really quick because I try to have a video every week. And I barely have any sunlight. But first thing I wanted to show you, because I'm back from Mexico, one of my cool outfits. It is a, let me do it like this. It is a skull hoodie dress. It goes all the way down with a little hood on it. Just being silly. I'm tired as a motherfucker, but I'm happy as a bitch. I just got back from Mexico like Saturday evening, and I was like so exhausted I couldn't do anything. And then today I had to go to a Japanese festival, and I've been at that all day, so it's like evening, and I'm super tired, and I have so much stuff to do before work tomorrow. But I am still really happy. Sadie, don't do it. Don't do it, Sadie. Sadie, no. She missed me very much. Did you miss me very much, Sadie? You miss me very much. They miss me being in here and doing videos. Sadie and Morticia have been super cuddly and purring ever since I came back, and I was so happy. And I miss them too. I do not miss these allergies. I'm going to be sniffing a lot. And I'll explain that in a second. But I wanted to give you guys an update on Mexico. And my friend who I was with, she watched these videos too. So, hey, girl. But yeah, so I went to... Do you need something, Morticia? Well, okay then. So, stop it, you. Even Sadie's mad. Stop. Don't make me drop a pillow on you. Get your sister, Sadie. She just be doing stuff and you don't even do nothing. You don't even stop her. Like, you the big sister. Anyway. So, forewarning, guys, I do have trauma brain. So, I don't remember everything exactly as it happened because I tend to forget stuff a lot. And I am going to try to make a video next week with like, videos and pictures of the actual thing, but I just have no time to edit today. So I'm just going to tell you about how the experience went. So let me say, flying in America gets on my fucking nerves. I was so mad. Like, first of all, the TSA rules about like what you can carry on and stuff is so stupid. Like, they took my sunscreen, my good sunscreen that I brought with me. I was so mad. And it was like, oh, you can go check it in your bag. And I'm like, bitch, my bag already gone. Like, it's not. And it's like, I was like late because I was trying to get an Uber to take me to the airport. And Uber was all like, yeah. 5 o'clock. And then 5 o'clock comes and they're like, yeah, we're looking. And I'm like, okay. 5:10 comes. They're like, yeah, ain't no Ubers out here for you. And I was like, bitch, you could have told me it was no Ubers like an hour ago and I would have drove myself. And I didn't even know that I could drive and like park at the airport and just leave my car there for the week. Which honestly, I think it might be a little bit more secure considering like the neighborhood that I live in. Like they would have took my car. But yeah, so I had to drive there. And so because I was waiting on Uber, and it was kind of like late, but not like late, but late enough to where I was like stressed out. And I didn't even eat anything that morning because it was so early. So leaving my city, I had to go to Dallas Fort Worth, which is a huge fucking airport. But it wasn't that hard because my gates were like by each other, the one I came in at and the one I had to leave. It was like I went to Starbucks and it literally was the entire time at Starbucks took up like the whole layover period. So I had to get to Starbucks and I had to like gulp it down. And then I was also pissed because them motherfuckers gave me a paper straw with my Frappuccino. And you know that whole like was starting to deteriorate when I was only halfway through the Frappuccino. So I had to like eat it like this while I was waiting on my plane, and I was so mad. And I think that they made the plane smaller, y'all. Like, I think that they, like, in order to cram more people in there, which just be the opposite of what you would do during COVID, they made them seats much smaller because, and I know what some of y'all gonna say. They was like, did they make the seats smaller or did you get bigger? They made the seats smaller. And the ones that I was on didn't even have, like, the little TV screens anymore. So I guess so less for them to clean, but it felt like because like trying to cram people on there. Because I remember last time I drove out of my city, because my airport is like small. So the planes coming out of my airport only do like 2 people per aisle or whatever. So like I've been on airplanes with guys that was like 3 times bigger than me. Like, God damn, dude. But they fit in the seat. And those seats that I got on was like way too tiny. Like it was ridiculous how tight they were. And like we were all on top of each other. And I wasn't about to fight nobody for no damn armrest. But I made sure I had all window seats. But because American Airlines canceled their flights, like on Sunday, they canceled so many fucking flights, and mine was one of them. And they rebooked me, but they made me pay again for my seats. So I, told them I wanted a refund for that. And then I had to rebook again once I saw that my actual original time slot was open. So I put in a thing with American Airlines to refund me for the seats. But then I also went to my credit card and was like, yeah, dispute that charge, because they playing. You cannot trust American Airlines to give you refunds for shit. Okay. So you really, if you have something with them, like you want to get a refund for or a dispute, go through your credit card, because they're not going to refund shit. Like, one of the big reasons that I was on this trip was because of the fact that they didn't refund my original trip, and I had to book another thing to go somewhere. But yeah, so by the time I was in Mexico, it was like I was sweaty, I was hot. I had no idea where my baggage claim was, because like for some reason the Mexican airport didn't report anything to like the American Airlines app. So I had no idea where any of my stuff was. And a lot of the people who were working at the airport were very like rude and dismissive. They just was like, especially seeing that I'm not like, I don't speak Spanish and I'm not like from there. They were just like, and it was very frustrating. And I was so lucky because there was this nice lady there who spoke Spanish who was like, let me help you. And she was sweet. But I had also lost my charger somewhere. It was somewhere in my luggage, but it wasn't in my purse or my carry-on. So I didn't have my phone charged, and I was like hours late. Like that's how late it was. I don't know what happened between Texas and Mexico, but we shipped off latest an hour late. And then we got there like even later than we were supposed to get there. And so we were supposed to be there like 12:30, and then we got there and it was like 2:30. So we were like 2 hours late getting there. And my friend was like messaging me trying to figure out what was going on, but there was no Wi-Fi in the baggage claim area. So it wasn't until I was able to like make it out, but I also didn't have no fucking battery, because when you're like, for some reason my phone, even in like medium power saving mode, the battery will drain really fast if you're doing something like recording a video, or like if you have a lot of notifications, it drains really, really fast. So I almost had no battery, and like I was freaking out because I knew that my friend would be freaking out because she couldn't get in touch with me, and figure out where the hell I was. Finally, I got some Wi-Fi and was able to tell her I was in baggage claim, because she said that, when my flight didn't come on Sunday, she said her parents thought I was like a catfish or something. Like I was like lying to her about who I was and that I was coming. And I was like, if anybody should be worried, it should be me, meeting someone I met on the internet in a foreign country. And I had no plans for where I was going to stay other than to stay with them. But I got there on Monday. And then finally, like with the last of my phone battery, I was able to send her a picture of where I was, and she sent me a picture of where she was. And then we found each other. We found each other finally. And I was like, good, because my phone is done. It really holds on those last 5%. Like it really holds on. But once you get to like 3%, it will hold on all the way to 1% and then be like, bye. And it won't say anything. It'll just go off. So I was there with her, and then she had also brought her guy friend Saruk. Tell me if I'm pronouncing this right. Saruk, but I was calling him Victor because that was a little bit easier for my American tongue. And because it was Monday, it was already Dia de Muertos or Dia de los Muertos, whichever one you prefer to say. And so we were looking for a taxi, but there was like no taxi. So then we had to take a bus, and we were like trying to hurry back to her neighborhood because she does makeup for Dia de Muertos. So they do all of like the scary makeup, and it looks really, really cool. And I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I took of myself and of them, but not on this video. or maybe like I'll upload this one and then I'll re-upload it and just add pictures to it. But I wanted to get something out to you guys anyway. And I also wanted to get out everything that happened, because if I wait a week, obviously my brain is not going to remember everything that happened. But she and her mom, they do makeup during the holiday, and that was really nice. And they were really, really good. Like, they were both like professional quality. Like, these people looked amazing. And they were doing it in a coffee shop. And I was there and I got like a crepe and everything. It was like super, super chocolate. It was like, you know how a lot of crepes are like strawberry, chocolate, whatever. And so she was doing her makeup. So I was sitting with her friend Victor, who didn't speak that much English. So I was practicing my Spanish. I was listening to his Spanish. He was trying to say some words in English. He kept pulling out Google Translate. I still couldn't find my charger. And so one of the people who worked there found a charger that matched my phone so I could charge it, which was great. And it was just so funny because, like, I remember when I was in Japan and I would sit down to dinner with my host family and I want to tell them about my life and about me. And I used a lot of Google Translate. But my friend, her mom's boyfriend came over and was like telling him, like, you have plenty of time. Don't use Google Translate. Try to make it happen, because he was learning English. So he was like, make it happen, make it happen. And we were doing a pretty good job without Google Translate. For him to not barely know any English and for me to barely know any Spanish, we were doing a really good job of communicating with each other. And eventually we went to sit closer to my friend where she was doing her makeup so she could be a part of the conversation. But then he kept cheating by like asking her to like translate stuff. And I was like, stop asking her to translate stuff. Like, talk to me. We gonna figure it out together. But we had like a really good conversation. Like we were there for like several hours. Like say maybe we got there probably like 3 something and we didn't leave until almost like 9 something. And we went back to her house and I showered real quick and we went back out to go to some of the festivities. There was like this motorcycle parade and everybody was dressed up and like all the stores were like participating. So they were handing out candy and everything. And it was really nice. So she lives in this place. It wasn't necessarily Mexico City. It was this place like outside of Mexico City, like this smaller, poorer area. I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but I'm going to try. Tutitlán. There's like the L there is weird, but is a smaller area. But for me, like maybe if you were somebody who grew up with money, you might feel a little bit uncomfortable there. But someone who grew up in like a poor Black neighborhood where, you know, like everybody knew each other, but there was also a lot of violence and gang activity and drug dealing and all of that stuff. I didn't really feel like this place was any more dangerous. In fact, it felt much more safe than the neighborhood I grew up in. And I was like, this is kind of weird, you know? All these people here and like, you know, no one's tried to steal anything from me. No one's pickpocketed me. You know, no one's tried to solicit me for something. Like everybody was just really, really nice, or they avoided me altogether. It's like, you know, her mom was super, super nice and sweet. Her mom's boyfriend was super nice and sweet. I just felt safe, you know. I didn't feel a danger from anybody, and everybody was just, everybody was they were either nice or they were kind of like, hey, what's the tour doing here? But like more confused. I didn't feel any animosity from anybody. And like I was telling, you know, her parents about like, hey, like I am not here to do tourist shit. I'm not here to buy alcohol and go to parties and then hop back on the plane. Like, no, I am here to experience the culture, the language. I want to see how you guys live, what you guys eat, what you guys do in a day. I'm really just treat me like I'm along for the ride, basically, and to experience the festivities of the holiday. And they really liked that. They were happy to hear that. And it was, and so we went back to her, let me see, how do I say this? I don't have it written down, but we had these tacos. I think it was like tacos Siquiro or something like that. I don't have it in front of me right now, but they were amazing. They were amazing. Almost everything I ate when I was there was amazing. I had this thing called a Pollo Ranchero, which is when they cut the chicken in the middle and they like crack it open and they like get all the seasonings in there. That was amazing. That was the best non-fried chicken that I've ever had in my life. Like they stuffed the flavor in there. You think that they injected the flavor personally with their with syringes and shit. Like the skin was delicious, the meat was delicious, everything about it was amazing. I had pozole, which was also really good. It was like a soup. It it was like a soup, but it had like pork and vegetables and all these things. It's very authentic Mexican meal. And her mother's boyfriend told me about the history of it, about how the pozole is supposed to represent like when you sacrifice a very, very powerful like warrior, and the pozole is like when you cut them up and you eat them like on some cannibal shit from back in the Aztec days, which I thought was really, really interesting. They were so excited to share with me all the history. Like my friend, she's a big nerd, and I love her. She was giving me all the history of Mexico. She's also really into like the 1930s, you know, Gene Kelly, Nat King Cole. She really liked old movies, old music, and that was fun too, like listening to those songs, because I like old music too. I just don't know enough about it to like have a curated playlist of it. But she had the curated playlist of it, and she had a cute outfits, a cute 1920s aesthetic with the hat, like the flapper hats, and her hair was cut short, and that was really cool. Her mother was more into the more contemporary music, or, you know, top 100, whatever. But they were very sweet. They were all very sweet, and we got to visit some really cool places. We got to go to the Basilica De Guadalupe, which was basically like this whole area dedicated to the Virgin Mary. So there was like the churches. There was this one huge church, and the line went on forever, where people did mass. And I was like, you know, I'm good with that, fam. I'm good on the Catholic mass. I don't need it, but it looks cute from outside. And we went into some churches where, you know, we got to see the big, like the Jesus statues and everything, which was very beautiful. We went to a museum of the Virgin Mary, or Guadalupe as they call her, where we get to see all of the different like paintings and pictures of like her performing miracles on everything. And she got to tell me the history of those things too, and like translate stuff for me. And that was really, really nice. I enjoyed that because even though I'm not big into religion is such a huge part of people's culture that I kind of have like a secondary interest in it, because I want to know like how your religion impacts your culture. And so for Mexico, most people are Catholic, so it is something that impacts their culture very greatly. So it's something that I want to see. It was a lot of fucking walking though. When I tell you a bitch was tired, even though we were taking like the train and stuff everywhere, I was still tired as fuck because of all the walking. But my friend was really, really sweet and very understanding of like taking breaks and everything. You know, stopping to go to the bathroom. I was really mad that I had to pay to use public bathrooms, because I guess it seemed like some people just like, if they could build a stall and they could buy a toilet, they gonna set that hoe up and they gonna make some money. And my dad used to say this, and he's kind of racist, but he used to say, you know, like, say what you will about Mexican people, but they gonna make their money. And I was like, so it wasn't super bothersome, but I did get to use some very sketchy public toilets that I had to pay for. One of them was really scary because I had to, like, literally someone just set up the bottom part of a toilet, and then they had a big thing of water, and they were like, that's how you flush. And I was like, okay. I brought like wipes with me because I'm not a squatter. I can't squat. So I brought wipes. So every toilet I used, I wiped it down before I used it. So make sure I didn't like it. I don't really think anything would have happened to me if I just used those toilets the way they were, but I'm just germophobic like that. So I wiped them down. But the people who ran them were very, very nice. Nobody was rude to me. The rudest people to me was when I was in the fucking Mexican airport trying to figure out how to get out, and they did not want any parts of me. And then that was the rudest that people were to me. Other than that, everybody just kind of either minded their own business or they looked at me like, what's she doing here? Tourists don't come here. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. But we got to eat some fun different types of food. One of them was a pambazo, which was like, it's some kind of sandwich with all different types of meat in it. And that was really good. I had Mexican nachos because I'm a big fan of nachos, but not the way that we normally eat them, where it's just cheese and chips. Like I always want to put like beans and meat and like all of that stuff on it. They that wasn't what the nachos were like. But when I ordered nachos at this one place, it was like the cheese, meat, and jalapenos, and it was a lot of meat, and so that was really delicious. There was so many different tacos that I saw. I know one of them was El Pastor, but I didn't eat a pastor taco. But we went to a lot of different places. We went to a La Michoacana, which that got me because there are La Michoacanas here, but I didn't know that it was like a huge thing. I thought it was kind of like just like, hey, this is an ice cream shop and we're going to call it La Michoacana because this is, people are going to eat it and they're going to be like, oh, it's authentic ice cream or something. But I didn't know it was like a huge thing. So there were multiple La Michoacanas in Mexico, and one of them we went to, I think it was the day after Dia de los Muertos, but they had this ice cream made from pan de muerto, which I also had the bread. We stopped at a place that sold bread because, you know, you just walking through and you're like, hey, what's this place? We stopped at a place that sold bread, and they were like, pan de muerto is only available during this time because of, I think, the spices that are grown that are used in the bread. So it was only available then. So I bought that and it was really good. But then when you go to La Michoacana, they are also selling the ice cream made from it because that's the only time of year that you can get it. And she said it cost so much to import spices that I probably could not get it in, you know, when I got home to the La Michoacana in my neighborhood. So that was interesting. I really liked it. They also had this like wine ice cream, and I was like, yeah, give me that too. Anytime it's some kind of liquor ice cream, I want to know what it tastes like because most liquor tastes like ass. So if you took something and made it into an ice cream, that liquor must taste good. So the pan de muerto tasted good. The red wine ice cream tasted good. My friend had this other one. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe she'll comment it in the comments. But it had like these gummies in it. So they mixed a lot of stuff into the ice cream at that place as opposed to in La Michoacana. Here, most of it's just one flavor. You know, you might get cookies and cream. You might get like Mexican cake. I think Mexican cake is the closest that I would get to them mixing things into the ice cream. But that was all really delicious. Almost everything I ate was really delicious. And if it was something that I didn't like too much, my friend wasn't offended at all. You know, if anything, she'll finish it off for me, which is nice because I hate wasting food. And I was also happy that like a lot of things about me kind of fit in with kind of how the culture was in Mexico. So it's like I didn't really feel too much like, I mean, yeah, like I'm not Mexican, obviously. And I didn't see no other black people except when we were in the tourist area, obviously. But the way I live my life and the way like I am more conservative and I'm cheap, like even in Mexico, I'm cheap. You know what I mean? Like if I want to buy something, I'm like, okay, but is this the cheapest store? Because like I may have 1,000 pesos on me, but if I can get it cheaper by going down the street to another one, let's go down the street to another one. And they were exactly like that too. So they were like, yeah, don't go to that one. Don't go to that one. Let's go to the cheap one. I'd be like, yes. So it was really, really good. And everybody was really, really nice. I even went to the store one time and I recorded some of that as well. I got up that morning and I went to the store, not because I needed anything, more so because I wanted to be brave. I wanted to be brave and I wanted to go to the store by myself and I wanted to buy things by myself without my friend translating for me because she speaks a lot. She's amazing at English, you know, so she was just very, very quick to translate things for me and like to speak to me only in English. And when it came to her parents, they wanted to speak to me in English and I tried my best to speak to them in Spanish the best I can. I know more Japanese than I know Spanish. So there were times when the only thing I knew how to say was in Japanese and not Spanish. And it really hurt my brain and I felt embarrassed. But I think people were really nice about me like trying with them and like piecing words together to communicate with them. So like nobody was mean to me. I think sometimes I feel like Americans, we're so rude to people for not speaking perfect English that I kind of expect people will treat me that way when I'm somewhere else, but they don't. They're really nice about it.